Hey, good morning. Today we are flying the J7W2 Shiden Kai, and this is the full upgrade of the plane. We haven't reached specialist configuration or anywhere near it yet, I hate to say, but we just got to elite status, so we've haven't yet begun. Okay, so where are we at with this thing? Well, take a look at the upgrades first. We now have the full upgrade, which gives us an airspeed, cruise speed, believe it or not, of the mighty 279. There are Tier 8 fighters that can fly faster than this. If you want to do without, that's easy enough to do, and that will bring you up to 286. So you gain about 10 miles an hour. Well, not even that, really. 7 miles an hour. Okay. So your upgrade just isn't enough to worry about. You carry the bombs would be my recommendation. Um, the engines you've seen before in the last video, it's a single 330 pound foot-pounds of thrust on there. And this is the new one, which is the Autocannon 30 Type 17C. Which gives you 300 damage per, and one of the beauties of this aircraft is the way that this all comes into this very tight, compact circle in front. And it was so heavy they had to put the engine and everything else behind to balance it out. um, and you get 2,100 feet. Now, when you go to a specialist configuration, which I would strongly suggest that you do, of course, and I can't imagine anybody not doing it, here's what happens. You get the forward-firing weapons, and you can get the long barrels on these, and you can get very close to 10%. Well, that starts leveling out that playing field a little bit. You're not quite as limited in your range of your guns anymore. And the additional reach of the guns tells me is probably a little less archy. I haven't proven that yet. I haven't flown the aircraft yet with the upgrades. We do have the 3 upgrades here, all raised to 200, which is all I'm going to do until I get to specialists, and then we'll upgrade them from there if I like the aircraft enough to keep it. Otherwise, I'll just go to the J7W3 and keep everything, see what can be upgraded and what can't, and then forget it. There are a lot of aircraft that I do this with. It's just there are some aircraft I can't stand. Its predecessor I've got no use for. We'll see if I like this any better. Okay, as for the historical aspect of the aircraft, it had a predecessor that was in the prototype stage, flew twice. Unfortunately, it was way too late. The first one, is note of historical interest, was it flew the day that Hiroshima was bombed. The second aircraft flew the day Nagasaki was bombed, and the Japanese government surrendered 10 days later, which ended World War II and, of course, development of the aircraft. So we don't really know too much about it. Everything about the notes from the pilot said that it was very rigorous in maintaining. When you first get an aircraft, you don't bring it out to the max. You gently explore all of its envelopes in case it has something terribly wrong with it. There are aircraft that would go into unrecoverable spins, for instance. There were aircraft that could get into something called aileron reversal. Excuse me. Which is means that the wing fluxes so much that the aileron fluxes out of shape and you're out of control and the aircraft can disintegrate. Um, in other words, when you get to brand new aircraft, you go through this feeling out process, and that's what they did with this. And the pilot was extremely careful to stay right within the boundaries of his flight plans at each time. So you don't know too much really about its plan capabilities. And so there we sit with it. And this was the second generation, which was meant for a turbojet that they hadn't perfected yet. There was an aircraft that looked like a 262 called the Kaiku, and it's also set on a Japanese airfield, and it's not represented in the game either. Um, but they were having troubles with the turbojet, which is the reason it wasn't there. And I bet there were a lot of B-29 pilots who were just thrilled that was the case. Thank God for them and for their crews in it too. You know, we may play an arcade game here, but you know, be aware that it's, you start talking about the real thing, people are paying for it with their lives. Okay, so that moving on, let's go ahead and try the aircraft out and see if this makes any difference at all. Right now, I'm not that fond of the aircraft. I don't think it flies fast enough. I don't think that it carries enough of a bomb load to be a decent multi-role fighter, and I don't think that it flies fast enough to make it worthwhile. And on top of which, it's not terribly maneuverable. 10.5 is all you get out of it. You know, that's with the upgrades. So for a lot of reasons, it's okay, but there's lots of aircraft out there that are better, faster, higher flying, carry more weapons load. That being said, this is the last thing you want to see on your tail when you're flying a ground attack aircraft, or you're flying a bomber, or something that's relatively not all that maneuverable, and you got caught low and slow. It's going to eat your lunch and do it in record time. So I'm kind of interested to see if this changes my opinion. Guns will change my opinion of an aircraft faster than anything else out there. Didn't like the 90 XF5U until I got the M61 guns on it. And I didn't like the Starfire until I got the M61 Gatling guns on it. The XF5U, I'm sorry, comes with the M39 cannons. Both are hard-hitting, fast-firing, long-range 20 millimeters, and they are something to behold.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
But I don't feel bad about carrying bombs on this thing because, frankly, it's so slow already, it doesn't make any difference. 7 miles an hour is nothing to get excited about one way or the other. One hit, 30% of his hit points went away. Okay. Well, apparently my bombs didn't do much. But not surprisingly, guns do, which is kind of nice. I only have one more building to kill. So, else alive over there? I swore that would have done it. No, that's alright. We'll go back and try again. And I get 2 more bombs here in a minute. Head on pass. Looks like he's got about half of his hit points. So he hit twice. That was enough for that. The guns are an improvement, definitely. Until I get ordnance back, I can't really do much more. Mr. Sherlock. Okay, I have 2 bombs. Getting repetitious, isn't it? Believe it or not, I hit the wrong button there. That hurts.
We've taken over the command center.
That took far too long.
Receiving reports about rapidly deteriorating weather conditions. Hopefully unable to reach you. Do you read me? Over.
Piece of advice, do not go head to head with this thing, period, under any circumstances.
Attention all fighters. Enemy bombers detected. Destroy them. There's a heavy storm here. Unable to proceed. Return into base. Do you copy?
Now, this took way longer than it should have because it should have been a ground attack aircraft in the middle of it, and we didn't get it. Wow.
The enemy is about to win. Push harder.
Alright, let's see what these mighty guns can do. Wait for them to cool down.
The threat to the complex eliminated. Way to go. Turn back. The enemy force is too strong.
Alright. Shame that game we could only go into 800 points. I think we could have won it. Alright, we shot down 11 aircraft, assisted in destroying one. We did 16,769 damage to ground targets, destroyed 4 ground targets, and captured sector. Given what this thing's loaded with, that's pretty outstanding performance. The 1056 would have been another story entirely, right? But I was pretty happy with that. Falco and the LIL-20 did just great. And I'm going to say we had the rougher bots of the two. I don't see any other humans but me and the other guy. So, yeah, I mean, I just can't explain why all your ground attack aircraft didn't go after the command base first and then after the mining base, but that unfortunately is out of my control. However, the plane performed very well. The guns do make a difference. They're actually a fairly decent ground attack weapon in a fighter, which is not bad. So in that regard, I'm very happy. It's not that good at destroying aircraft, but it's got great. Well, we actually did shoot down some aircraft too. I don't know why that didn't show up, but it didn't. All right, so it be it. Life isn't fair or fun. And that will wrap this one up. I'm happier with the plane than I was. The guns are not quite so archy. They are considerably more powerful. And when you're talking about 1,200 DPS packed into a nose, we destroyed a couple aircraft that wanted to go nose to nose with us. And that was pretty quick. 3 of them, I think, if I remember right. And a couple ground attack aircraft. So, you know, let's go back and look at this. I killed 11 aerial targets, and none of them showed up here at all. Weird. Oh well. Okay, so that is it. I do want to thank you for watching today. Sorry I couldn't get you a victory, but I also am not a strong believer in only showing wins. I got people over at content providers and other world of war, take your choice, who never lose a game if you watch them play, and yet somehow end up around 50%. So that is life, and that's how I want to present the channel. All right, so I do thank you. Please come back and see me tomorrow. Bye-bye.